I mean, all things considered, those two headphone cables had to be swapped.
Yes.
And that's the only ones we swapped so far for, 2 years of plugging and unplugging and plugging and unplugging because
and having people come.
We can't just always leave it plugged in. It'd be ideal to have it all just plugged to the board and we never unplug it, but
I'm sure my dogs will chew that
realistic.
shit up and rip it apart.
We still have that episode we never released.
Oh man. Yeah. Okay. So the episode we didn't release, we had a friend of mine, Tommy. I've told you about him. He's like a dominatrix.
Yep.
And
more like the dominatrix assistant.
Right, he's the person that gets
sat,
whipped.
like, right here.
Yeah, what do they call that? Like,
What?
Slave?
What did you say?
Or you could call him a slave as well.
He's like the slave to the dominatrix.
That's crazy.
And
but
so
he's technically below that because she already has her submissive.
Okay.
And he is learning to be a submissive on the side of below the already. Yeah. So he's 2 steps removed from.
So he's not a worm. He's a maggot.
Yes, correct. But he's elevated since then. He's a worm now. He's a worm now.
He's a worm now.
He's a worm now.
He was a maggot.
If he was a Pokemon, he'd be a Weedle.
Yeah. But now
he's just low.
Yeah.
At that time, he was sitting next to Ian, and this is the first time he got to meet Ian.
It was like episode 4, bro.
Yeah, and I know Tommy's a weird motherfucker, right?
Yeah,
but Ian did not know what to expect. Now he's also like, I think he was hitting on Ian.
Bro,
that is very uncomfortable.
And Ian is looking at me, and I'm looking at Ian like, please don't fuck him up.
Yo, please don't fuck him up. Yeah, go ahead.
I didn't know what the fuck to think. Like, this guy shows up, and one, he's fucked up. Like, he's like smoking, like, in the set. Like, looking at his eyes, they were glazed. I was like, dude, like, what the fuck?
He was dabbing.
He said something about, he said something about, like, dress. He's like, oh, yeah, we could dress you up like Tarzan. At one point, he touched my chest. I was like, bro.
Yo, he actually touched you.
Brushed my fucking chest with his finger.
Look, he couldn't help it.
Honestly, I'm surprised you didn't punch him dead in his face.
I just didn't know what to expect. I was like, we can't do this live. We can't record these
songs. He did it out of pure love and respect for Nelson.
Your household.
He kept making eye contact with me, and
he's like, yo, help me right now.
He would say something, and he would like brush my chest, and I would just be like.
And I'm looking at you and I'm like, please God, don't hit him.
Yo, for real. Yeah, that's actually crazy.
He's a nice guy. He's a nice guy, but that day he showed up fucked up.
Please don't introduce me to this guy.
Once the camera came on, his whole personality kind of shifted. Because it's like, oh my God, we're being recorded now.
Yeah.
It's like some people, once it starts, it's like, there's that kind of a deer in headlights.
Some people have a natural charisma. They just know how to be themselves all the time.
Right.
And some people, it was just like, as soon as we're like, we're live, he's like, we're live. He's like,
oh yeah. And then it got even
weird. And then he was touching on your chest.
And then he got rubbing my chest.
That's fucking
weird.
So did you guys end up actually releasing this episode?
We never released the episode.
That episode's in the void.
It is. It's in the void. It's in the vault.
I have it.
He said it ain't in the void.
I didn't delete it. I have it.
Yeah, and you know what it is?
If he ever commits like a murder or something, like if he ever like fucking shoots up the place, we should release the episode and be like, we had him first.
We knew. We knew. Yeah.
He's that murderer.
We didn't release it out of respect for his father too. Like I know his father, and I like his dad. His dad is a super cool guy. So like when we watched the episode back, we're like, yeah, we can't release this.
There's another episode we didn't release, but it was out of respect for her future possible career.
Yeah. So all right, we'll get into it. Eddie, start the podcast.
Well,
welcome to the Sofa Kingdom podcast with your host Nelson.
And I'm Ian.
Ed, and our very special guest today,
Last Legend. What's going on, guys?
Yes. He is now a reoccurring cast member on the couch, coming back to talk some shit with us.
Talk spicy.
So the other episode that we did not put out was I had my daughter on a podcast with us, and then I decided, I was like, her future is too bright to be on the Sofa Kingdom podcast. I was like,
it was a good episode.
It was a really good episode.
We were in Christmas onesies, all of us.
Yeah, but I'm like,
awesome.
if she ever runs for office, this is gonna be the shit that they pick apart.
Yeah.
You know,
and then right after the episode,
debates.
I got punched in the face.
Oh, are you serious?
Oh yeah. It was a good fucking night.
I mean, by said person.
Yeah, I got punched.
So they were playing around, and she was like, "Yo, you don't want these hands?" And he's like, "I can catch these hands." And
I thought thought we were playing jiu-jitsu. I thought we were doing jiu-jitsu.
She struck you. She said,
So I went to grab the onesies and sit guard. So I went to sit guard, and she like fucking blasted me right in the mouth. Like, and I don't mean like a little. No, like my fucking tooth. Like I was laying on the ground laughing, and there's blood just pouring out of my mouth. I was like, that was a good punch. I was like, oh shit, my bell's wrong. I was like, goddamn.
You know it's a sick fuck when they laugh off. A punch to
know
my teeth just through my lip. I was like, goddamn.
Yeah, suck it.
I was like,
wow,
wow.
that was a good shot.
I was like, oh, that's a lot of blood.
I like that.
That's a lot of blood in my mouth right now. That was a hell of a punch.
Oh man, so look, I want to check in with this podcast, and definitely let's start here because we're gonna go off the rails. I just wanted to bring up Legend just put out his album.
I sure did.
It's on Spotify. It's on iTunes. Fucking dope as hell. Yep. I suggest everybody go check it out. Everybody go listen.
Give it a listen.
Give it a listen, guys. Dedicated.
Absolutely.
I worked incredibly hard on this project, and we have some future projects coming up, and we've been luckily been able to work together on some music. And you guys know how hard I've been working on this music.
No, absolutely. And it shows in the songs, in the album. It's fucking dope. It's definitely worth the listen.
And this part of this album, it really shows like the dark side of what I've been through.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm really excited, after this album to release my next project, which pretty much shows all the light.
Yeah.
Everything that's just been going well since then. And I feel like being able to show people two sides of a coin. Yeah. Both every human has both wolves.
Sometimes dark shit makes really good music.
That's
it
the
really
truth.
does.
It does.
And you know what?
People always be breaking up with Taylor Swift. She's going platinum.
I was gonna say, don't date Taylor Swift.
As soon as Travis
Kelce
breaks up with her, fucking she's going platinum.
She's going platinum again.
That's the next platinum.
That's how it is.
Absolutely. We can see it. He's a walking song.
But I think when you really delve into art, music especially, like exactly what you're touching on, Ian, like it's good to have different sides of the music because different moods get brought out. You're sad, you're happy, depressed, you want to hit the gym, you want to get into a fight. You want, like I was telling my brother on the way to I was like, man, I remember fights. Like, I'm going to go fight this kid. I'm driving to his house to fight him. DMX the whole fucking way,
50
right?
Cent.
That shit is going to get, I'm not listening to fucking Adele, on the way there. But like.
DMX. I mean, fucking DMX. I'll be fighting in traffic. DMX, you show up to fight, you don't even turn your car off. You just open the door.
You just open up the door, get out, and start hitting somebody.
Just running at him. Like, you realize you're hitting the wrong person. You're hitting his dad.
It wasn't me. The DMX made me do it.
I was listening to Year of the Dog on the way there.
There was one time we did like a drive-by water gun shooting.
Right.
We're in fucking. We're at Walmart. It is the dead of winter, like -5 degrees out. And back then we had like the Super Soaker 3000. It's the equivalent of getting hit with a house hose.
Was there at least warm water in
there? Nah, it was cold as fuck, right? And we rolled down the windows and we were just waiting for people to come out with their shopping carts all happy and shit. And we're just like where my dogs at? Shh, like soaking them down. And it's so cold where like you're angry, you're getting hit with the water, but you can't move.
Yeah,
you're
probably got groceries in your hands and shit. Motherfucker, you're going nuts.
The groceries are heavy. You can't even throw
them.
You can just lift your shoulders slightly.
By the time you register what's happening,
we had already pulled off.
They're already leaving.
It's too late. And we're still bumping that DMX like, where my dogs at?
Where my dogs at?
The fucked up things we did as kids. But it was fun. Like, that's harmless fun. Like, maybe they got the ammonia. Maybe, right? Maybe some cold and flu pills.
Yeah, this was before COVID. There was not much danger.
There was no COVID. There was no COVID.
Not much danger.
So, I want to tell you guys something that happened to me recently.
This will be good.
I actually should probably still be in an arm sling, right?
Yeah.
I was training jujitsu. Freakest of freak accidents
That's your
happened.
first mistake right there.
Yes, yeah.
You should be doing karate.
I was training.
Nothing bad.
We weren't doing ninjutsu, right? So training jujitsu. Nothing crazy. I got the new free trial guy, which is what makes it even worse, right? I got him on top of me. He's working. Like, I'm leaning on my head. I'm like, all right, cool.
What did you
cool,
say?
Cool.
I believe the direct quote was, I got him on top of me. He's working. In that order.
That quote.
Yeah.
In jiu-jitsu terms.
By all means.
Jiu-jitsu terms.
Continue your story.
Yeah, continue.
You know what? Fuck you guys.
I see it. He's on top of you. He's working. Let's go.
that makes
What did I miss?
That makes you a cuck, right? Okay, so we're doing the thing, and I'm sliding into position to do an oompa, right? So like when you go
can't say sliding.
Oh, come on.
You can't say sliding. You can't say
He's
sliding.
getting in position to get his hips in.
Yes. So that I can thrust my hips in the air.
This is just occurring to me. How gay jiu-jitsu sounds.
Eddie, do you think you could put up some video footage of what's going on here?
I might be able to find something.
Yeah, you know what? Fuck you. I already know what you're thinking about. And it's not it.
Eddie, what you thinking? Do it. Do it.
So my shoulder gets caught in a really weird way, and I dislocate my shoulder. So now my shoulder's out of the socket. I look over at my coach, call her over. She goes to try to put it in the socket. It doesn't work. She calls over another guy. He comes over. He's like a chiropractor. He tries twice. He couldn't do it. My boy Grant, he tries coming over there. He's like, I got you. Let me do this. He tries to put it in.
To be fair, Grant probably has just as much of a chance as a chiropractor.
He does.
I mean, they got like a paramedical field, but I mean,
I love everyone for trying though, right?
Yeah.
So we're trying. All right, third person tries. Grant looks at me. He's like, bro, we need to go to the hospital. I'm like, fuck. So he grabs all my shit, gets me in the car. He takes me
Shout out to Grant.
Yeah, shout out to Grant. He takes
good
me
dude,
to
Grant.
Yeah, you're a good dude.
this hospital.
don't buy me a dog.
In hindsight, I should have hopped on a plane and flew to fucking New York to go to the fucking hospital over there because they would have done better. Yeah. I was at the hospital by like 6:15. I was still in the waiting room with my shoulder dislocated, sitting out of the socket for 3 hours.
Yeah, that's unacceptable.
Keep in mind that the longer your shoulder is dislocated, when you dislocate your shoulder, your axial nerve is stretched. So the longer your fucking shoulder is out of the glenoid,
the more damage,
the more nerve damage and permanent effects that you have.
That makes complete sense.
So we're at 3 hours now.
So we're 3 hours.
It hasn't even seen anybody.
I haven't even gone into the small waiting room. Okay, I'm still in the main waiting room. During this time, this guy walks in with a bullet hole in his hand. Okay, he's fucking coked out, cracked out. He's got all the above. He's got all
he
the
shot
fucking
himself
drugs.
in the fucking hand.
Oh, yes.
So he walks in and he's like, DEA here. I was in a drug bust. I got shot in the hands. DEA, DEA. Nobody's listening to him. He's like stoned. He's all cracked out. He sits down in front of me. And he looks over. He's like, I'm lying. He's like, actually, you know, they come and they bring you in the back faster if they think you're a cop. He's like, DEA, I got shot. He's like, actually, I shot myself in the hand, right?
I knew it.
Right?
Did I not just fucking say that? I fucking knew it. How the fuck you get shot in the hand?
But every single person in that hospital is probably like, he ain't a goddamn
Yeah. So now
it's probably the second time you shot himself this week.
So Grant left at this time. My wife came.
Right.
And she's sitting there with me, and I'm in fucking pain. I'm in so much pain, I feel like I could throw up from the pain that I'm in. And this guy walks in, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, fuck. If I have to fight this guy, I'm going to have to hurt him really, really fast.
He's gonna start
like, there's going to be no
have
joke.
to punch him in
I'm
his
gonna
fucking throat.
break something
You gotta
fast.
finger his hand.
I'm thinking I'm going to pick up the fucking chair. I'm going to hit him
You
with
gotta
the
get
chair.
on top and start working.
That's right.
Yeah.
I got on top of him.
Into position.
I started working.
Slide into position. So I'm looking at this motherfucker. A cop walks by.
Yeah.
Short lady.
Was he still yelling DEA?
He's yelling all this shit. He's talking to people. He tries to tell her, like, hey, we're cops. You know, get me in the back. She walks outside. So now I'm looking at my wife. I'm like, did this bitch just walk outside? She's a cop. Everybody here is sick or hurt or in danger from this motherfucker right here.
Yeah.
And as a cop, you have the audacity to walk outside and leave everybody here.
Yeah.
The only other person that has a badge is 90 years old, and he's the security guard that works there. So
that's basically a Walmart badge.
You know, I have to proceed to go outside and be like, hey, you know, this guy's a problem in there. You know, my shoulder's out of the socket. There are women, there are children. People are sick. The people he's next to, he's harassing. She's like, yeah, well, I'm waiting for backup. And I'm like,
so basically, she said, "That guy will kick the shit out of me."
Yeah.
Wait a second till my niggas come.
I'm not.
That's what I hear. That's what I'm hearing.
That's exactly right.
I'm not qualified to do my job.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm not the person that should be stationed at a hospital.
I guarantee you she's getting paid the same.
Yeah. The person at the hospital should be capable of handling themselves.
Correct.
And
regardless of the person.
obvious dangers, because this is a common thing of someone drugged up trying to get more drugs at the hospital. They're already desensitized, so when you're fighting them, they're not feeling anything you're doing.
Del Rey.
You ever fight a crackhead?
You
They're almost
gotta
impossible
be capable.
to knock out.
So to have the person that's not capable of handling a person, managing the hospital makes no sense.
So I'm looking at her. I got one arm. I'm thinking to myself, yo, you got a gun and a taser. Give me one of those, right?
Yeah, facts.
Right? If you ain't gonna do it, somebody's gotta fucking be able to protect somebody in this motherfucker. So I go back in. Right. Anyway, the big guy comes, her partner comes. He looks like fucking Sasquatch on steroids. Oh my God. They remove this motherfucker. He's gone, right?
They got the G.I. Joe.
Yeah. No longer in the equation. Yeah. I finally get to the back room.
Right.
Now, 5 hours before I even get pain medication.
So it's 11 o'clock now, probably.
So, yeah, I'm on the bed in such a weird, contorted way. I'm like, this is the only way that my body doesn't
yeah, you're right, though. Your shoulder,
some kind of pain, right?
Your shoulder's involved.
And so I hear this asshole, there's a nurse on the outside. He's like, what's going on with the bed in bedroom 4, right? And he's looking at me. So I'm like, I'm in pain. I don't have any pain medication, right? I'm like, if you want to bring me some Tylenol, I would love some Tylenol. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, don't start making jokes that I can fucking hear. Like, I'm clearly in pain, right?
Yeah.
So they finally find the other guy. He comes in. He gives me some pain medication. So it's like 5 hours in. It wasn't until like 6 hours in that my shoulder was relocated. And it took all of 5 minutes. Doctor walks in. He's like, oh, dislocated shoulder? All right, let me get the anesthesiologist. Brings in the anesthesiologist. He tells me he's going to put me to sleep. They run out, get the shit, sign the paperwork, put me to sleep. I wake up and my shoulder's back in fucking place.
So they actually
that's unacceptable though.
Yeah.
That's 6 hours. That's unacceptable.
6 hours.
That's unacceptable.
Yo, every like 30 minutes, I'm thinking to myself.
And they hit you with the anesthesia charges too.
Every 30 minutes.
American healthcare, baby.
I'm thinking to myself, like, I can't go another 5 minutes. I'm gonna fucking pass out from the pain.
Yeah.
This shit is fucking crazy. And then, my wife is there, so I'm keeping a brave face. Like, yeah, no, I'm good. My daughter calls. She's like, how you doing? Oh, I'm feeling all right, kid. I'm thinking to myself, I'm fucking dying here.
Yeah, for real. If she only knew.
Yeah.
That's Warriors mentality,
and then I got through it. Once they put my shoulder back in, I'm smiling again.
Yeah.
People are like, man, this is a different motherfucker. I'm like, yeah, this is me without fucking pain.
Yeah.
So that was my experience over last week. Traumatic, harrowing, all that bullshit.
Glad you're back.
That's American healthcare, though, man.
That is. I'm fucking.
Also, the hospital
appalled.
you're in is notorious for that. The hospital you went to is like,
Yeah, well, next time I know, I
will
Delray
drive. Medical Center. They call it Hell Ray for a reason.
Should drive all the way back to Wellington to go somewhere better.
And I would have gotten seen quicker. I absolutely would have.
Oh, yeah.
Which is fucking nuts, man. But so you had an experience yourself, Ian, at the South Florida Fair?
Oh, yes. Right? Yeah, God bless America. No, the South Florida Fair is in town, and I know. I was like, I know I shouldn't go to the fair on a Saturday night. I know it's a bad idea.
Yeah.
I knew it was a bad idea going into it, but I figured it's going to be cold. Maybe it'll scare some people away.
Yeah.
It won't be out because South Floridians notoriously
I'm
going to give it a chance.
It was cold enough that the iguana warning went out. Careful. It's cold enough. They're going to fall asleep. Iguanas. They're going to be falling out the trees.
Well, all the iguanas were probably at the fair with the rest of these fucking people. I've never seen some shit like this. Like the traffic I heard was like backed up the turnpike.
Jesus.
Like to get into the fair, the traffic was the whole way onto the turnpike.
Jesus. Yeah, that's.
Is this opening weekend?
No, it's not even the last.
It's been going.
Yeah.
It started the weekend that I was on the podcast.
Yeah, last weekend is next weekend.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't gone to the South Florida Fair since it's opened.
It was terrible.
It's
People
just
waited
so
2 hours to get in the park. We
Yeah.
parked like a mile away at like Hook's Fish and Chicken and walked because we figured a 16-minute walk is better than a 2-hour
Man, that sounds
drive.
like a good Hooker's Fish and Chicken.
Yeah.
That's fucking.
Hooks is actually really good. Hooks and snappers.
Yeah,
they're
never
good.
had it. See, but I don't eat seafood, so.
Yep.
It's all right.
Carry on.
Okay. Yeah, seafood's good for your shoulder.
Yeah. I guess my shoulders is gonna be fucked up.
But we get into this. I mean, we walked in. Whatever. There's a million fucking people here. Like I've never seen this many people at the fair. Like you can't walk anywhere. Like we get our tickets. We're waiting in line. People are cutting in fucking line, dude.
What the fuck?
Just cutting. I mean,
Just blatantly
the only thing that kept going through my fucking head was like, COVID didn't kill enough people. It did not. Like it wasn't. We need a more powerful strain. Like, there's the only thing I can think. 'Cause, like, I hate
China is working on it. They
hurry the fuck up.
Of course they are.
In the lab.
Do you need someone to deliver it? I'll fucking fly over. I'll carry it back.
If the thing that I read is correct, in the lab, they created a strain with 100% kill rate.
Fuck
What do
yeah.
you mean 100%?
100%.
We need that, right?
Every mouse in the test died.
Okay,
and killed everyone.
Okay, but tell me, what is the fucking purpose of making these things?
To drop it off at the South Florida Fair so I can have a fucking good time. That's what the purpose of it is. What the fuck, man?
I think I think war is gonna go past nuking. I think it's gonna go over taking
viral
control.
The way to go.
Yeah. It's gonna be eliminating that side of the planet.
It's gonna get real nasty, especially with things like CRISPR, where you can make permanent genetic disorders and just pass it off to particular people
through their generations.
And then exactly, it's not even like it's just that person. It's now everyone down their line is going to have it. It's fucked. I mean, their whole thing is like we're predicting what can come so we can figure out how to fight it now. Sure. That's their theory.
Well,
I say don't have the lab in the middle of a fucking city. Pick a desert in the middle of fucking nowhere. So if some shit happens, it can't get out.
Exactly. Yeah, that's some Resident Evil shit. Why would you have your lab like
in the middle of one of the biggest cities in the world?
Okay. But you know what else is kind of crazy about China? And I don't know if we've discussed this before, but China has replicas of famous places around the world.
Oh yeah,
in their country. Like they have their own fake Paris.
Yep.
They have their own fake Times Square.
Like Vegas.
Yeah. So it's like, hey, what are you guys fucking preparing for with all these fake places? Or is it that they figure
you don't need to travel anywhere else once they kill everybody?
They'll kill everybody else off, and like we still have the best of everything here. You want Times Square? We got Times Square at home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Think about it, guys.
And the best Kung Pao chicken you ever want.
Yes.
So we owe, I think, like a couple trillion to China, right? So you
know
that's like owing your plug a lot of money.
Your
work is getting fucked up. He's sick and tired,
waiting on his money.
And that's why ramen be poisoning people. Everything that we get from China, I don't know if you notice food-wise, it be fucking killing people.
Well, it's true because when you look at the obesity rate in the United States compared to most other countries,
the South Florida Fair, deep fried Snickers, deep fried Oreo, deep fried everything.
Everything is deep fried in the fair. Oh, it's all terrible.
But I don't get it. Like they'll charge you $8 for a deep fried Snickers. How much does that Snicker cost you?
About 99 cents.
Right.
How
And
much
you know
did it
they're
cost
using the same oil.
About 40. Yeah, 40.
So they're charging you $7 to fry that shit for
Yeah.
like 60 seconds. I don't know, man.
Same with the fried pickles and all that stuff.
It was the worst fucking experience, dude. It was so bad, and like all these like people dressed like they would normally dress.
Right.
People freezing to death, trying to act hard.
They're in like
guys standing there in a t-shirt, like fucking. I'm like, bro, like. What the fuck?
Wear a hoodie.
Yeah.
What an asshole.
Yeah, there's a hoodie right there. Buy it. Buy it off the fucking thing for $15. It says, I love my girlfriend. Who gives a shit? You don't have a girlfriend. Buy it and put it on. You'll live. You'll live. It showed me that like how fucked we are as a species. I was like, man, this is the last time I'm going to the goddamn fair.
Yeah, listen.
And I'll remember that when I go to the fair next year.
I went once and they had like a tent with like goats in it, and I'm like, I'm done.
Yeah.
They didn't even have that. They didn't even have that this year.
For me, it was the movies. I actually had to tell somebody to shut the fuck up at the movies. And that's actually not a joke. She was on her phone the whole time. I let it go.
Yeah.
And she's right in front of me. So, it's like in your vision of seeing it. And you just want to be like, but you don't.
Of course. You're trying to be cool. You're in a public place.
Her phone starts ringing, and I'm like, there's no way.
She will.
Yep. Right in
will.
the middle.
Ignorant
Hi,
ass.
I'm at the movies. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, I'd be fucking livid.
I looked at my dog. We both had our girls with us.
Yeah.
I was like, if you're not saying something, I'm saying something. I don't give a fuck. And she was like, I think she was with like 3 other chicks. Yeah, I'm sorry, girl. You gotta get roasted.
That's fucking rude.
Yeah,
right?
you go out there.
Really fucking rude.
Yeah.
You know what the fuck you're doing.
The best example of that I ever saw in my life, I'll never forget. I was seeing It Chapter 2. Right? The second It movie. And I'm fucking watching this movie, and this whole row of young high school girls come in. And they sit like 3-4 rows down. And I'm like, okay, whatever. And they're talking, laughing through the previews. I'm like, they'll shut up during the movie. Yeah, kinda. They still kind of would say something and laugh to each other. This giant biker motherfucker is the row in front of me to the left.
Yeah.
And he's sitting there like this. He made it like an hour and 20 minutes into the movie, right? This guy's fucking enormous, tattoos on his neck.
You're not saying anything.
He's with his daughter. He's with his daughter.
He's
They're watching
shaking,
this movie.
right?
Bro, this girl started talking like it's maybe an hour and a half into the movie. He just goes off. I mean, it didn't matter. He was so fucking loud. This theater's huge. It's like a Regal.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Fucking, there's 100 people in this bitch. He just starts going, would you shut the fuck up? That was me. The whole fucking movie you've been talking. He just keeps going. And he's like leaning over the rows, like above her, like leaning down. He's like, just shut the fuck up if you want to talk. Leave the fucking and I'm like, I'm fucking hyperventilating. And I'm like, I start clapping. The theater's clapping. I was like, holy shit. Like, and the girl's like, fine, goddamn. Like, she's like, he's like, shut the fuck up. The whole movie, you've been fucking.
The whole fucking movie.
Stop. He was just like veins bulging from his neck. I was like, God damn.
But you know what?
That's rage personified.
But he isn't wrong.
But the point about it,
he was my champion.
Yeah.
I was like, go.
But the world is changing right now, guys, and that is the point of this. You know, the world is changing. You can't even go out with your family. You can't even take your fucking family somewhere because you got 3 fat bitches in front of you on their phone instead of being in line.
It's true. It's true.
You know.
Yeah, and they're
cutting in front of you, fucking acting stupid. I don't know how many people we saw get arrested. It was it was madness. It was fucking madness.
It's not only that. It's like when you see these videos of like, let's say, you know, it happened a while ago. Like a guy's in a pizzeria, and he's clearly outsized, outmatched, and the guy could have hit him once. He dropped him, and it could have been over, right?
Yeah.
You know, but he decides like, over words, I'm gonna just keep pummeling this guy, and there's 15 people around them, and everybody's got their phones out.
Filming.
Yeah, that's
everybody's
cowards.
just recording,
They're
right?
Cowards.
Yep. They're just recording. Like nobody wants to say, hey, you know, he's had enough.
Enough
hey,
is
step
enough.
in, whatever the case.
This
and
dude
it's
just
like,
lost 2 teeth.
Yeah, and it's the cause of it's everywhere. Everyone wants that next viral video. Yep. So like they don't give a fuck about the person next to them.
It almost used to operate like hockey rules. As soon as the person was down, or like you're like, oh,
stand it up.
It's like this dude is definitely gonna lose. People would stop it. Like, all right, listen, you already won.
Yeah.
Let the asshole leave. You get to stay. He fucking lost. You go.
Yep.
But it's over.
Yeah.
Now it's like they're on the ground and they're getting kicked 7 times, and everyone's taking out their phone and recording for
and
later
ass whooping.
Instead of actually like, hey man, you won. It's good.
But even on the other side of things, how about the people that take those pictures like at the edge of a mountain? Right? They're like, I need this great selfie. Like, how many people are like now dying because of?
It's several.
They're like, I need to climb to this mountain.
I'd say that's extremist clout chasing behavior.
Yeah,
that's what I'd classify.
It is, and it's wild.
Everybody wants likes on their post.
Yeah. I seen a video the other day about like it was like a little comedy skit, and she's bringing home, you know, the boyfriend to meet the parents, and he's like, but how many followers does he have? She's like 300. He's like, what are we doing here? He's dating you for your followers. You do realize that, right? And I'm like, bro, that's exactly where this fucking world is headed.
Yo, these little OnlyFan bitches, they target, like, I'll give you an example, like Aiden and Neon. I don't know if you know these guys. They're also content creators, kind of do a little bit the same stuff that we do, but more on Twitch.
Right.
But these OnlyFan bitches will target these weak-minded motherfuckers because they see them popping. And they take advantage of them. They fuck them, suck them, do whatever, get into their pockets. You know what I'm saying? And it just goes to show masculinity is genuinely under attack. We talked a little bit about that.
Oh, yeah, we definitely did, yeah. And
dude, I see it at the gym all the time.
Absolutely.
I'll be working out in Crunch. I'll be working out, and like next to me, like this girl will walk in. She's in good shape. She's attractive, whatever. But then she's got this like guy following her around, and he's following her around with this couple $1,000 camera.
Yeah.
And he's just like, he'll set up the camera.
He's a little simp rat.
Bro, he'll set up the fucking camera, and he's like getting all these angles, and all she's doing is like basic shoulder raises. And I'm just sitting there going,
all of this?
I'm like, what the fuck?
You can't just go to the fucking gym?
That's a very low camera angle for a shoulder exercise.
Only gets the chest and fucking...
I'm probably in the video just going like... like in the background, what the fuck is happening? What's happening?
No, but on the other side of things, the guy that goes to Crunch, the big fat guy with the beard, he's fucking hilarious.
Oh, Bear? Oh, yeah.
Oh, he's fucking, not Bear. Bear's our boy. No,
right.
There's another guy who does like videos at Crunch, and he does like racquetball videos and shit. I gotta find his fucking
It's
Instagram
not 50%
feed.
natty, is it? Because there's a guy that goes to Crunch Fitness and has like...
He's a huge...
Oh, no, this is roided out.
Like he takes off his shirt, and he's like...
He's got like a...
when your gym crush is staring at you, and he's got like his fat... Yeah.
No, I didn't see that guy, but the guy the one dude that is in the gym, he's got a couple 100,000 followers, 50% natty.
Yeah.
He's obviously 100% on steroids. Yeah. But like his thing
I've
is
seen his
50%
t-shirts
natty.
going around too.
Yes, and he's a funny shit dude.
That's a familiar guy. I think I know who you're talking
Yeah,
about.
if you see him in the gym,
he's out here? I didn't
Yes, he works out at Wellington Crunch. He is enormous.
But
this motherfucker is gigantic.
Do you think that there's a place for this in today's society? Like, I think time and place, right? Like when you see nurses in a hospital doing dances for TikTok while there are patients in the waiting room waiting, I'm like, fuck you. That's
some things
that
are ridiculous. Like
right?
I know there was a mom that was doing like a TikTok dance. Her fucking like baby was hooked up to a respirator. Like the baby's in the background on the respirator. I'm like, what the fuck? That guy, yes.
Okay, I know him. I know who he is.
That dude's
Okay.
awesome as shit. That dude's awesome.
He's funny.
He is funny. He's funny, and like all his posts are about obviously doing steroids.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
But saying that he's natty.
50% natty.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's like, what? There's testosterone's not natty. Like he's just his ideology is amazing. I love that fucking guy. But
his
like,
reverse psychology.
He's not part of the problem. I don't know. It's the world is changing, and I don't know. It feels like it's not for the better.
There's a difference between making content and then just trying to bait people for the sake of dragging them to your page to make money off of.
Yeah.
That's really what it comes down to. If you're actually in there making legitimate exercise content, people wouldn't care. But when you're in there and you're just trying to make videos to bait people to come pay you somewhere else, people notice it and they're like, I don't want you in here.
My friend McKay
kind of fucking
the people in there don't want you in there, but there's clearly a market for it because people are paying through their fucking teeth to these websites. Like we talked about it before one time. There was a girl that was laying in milk in her bathtub and then fucking selling it to people. Oh yeah. There was another lady selling her
bath.
I have a friend that played Twitch, and she would play video games on Twitch live stream, and she would make money because she would play the video game in a bathtub in a bathing suit. Yep. And these fucking dudes would just throw money at her. So beautiful girl. I guess, and I was just like, God damn, like I don't want to call her out.
But you know what?
It's just like, damn, why do you have to do that for money though? There gotta be more to her than that.
There is.
You know,
there really is. But people are going for the fast
on.
Yeah, they're going
for the fast. And it's
you gonna get him in trouble. You gotta get him in trouble. Let's pause right there.
I have a friend that's in real good shape, and she has like well over 100-some thousand followers, and like she offers this service. Like you can obviously watch her. You can watch her. Listen, you can watch her fitness content. You can watch her fitness content, but she's got like a website. She has a website devoted to her, and like you could pay for like VIP shit where like she'll chat with you 24/7 shit, and like
for fitness though.
Anything. These dudes will pay for this shit. And don't get me wrong, she's a beautiful fucking girl. Comes from a wealthy family. Yeah. She's intelligent and she's very nice to look at. But it's just like, goddamn, like.
But you know what? There's
how many guys you got doing this?
But there's value lost, right? As a man, right?
That's huge.
If I was single and looking, I would not want a content creator type of woman.
Me neither.
To me, that's like you're devaluing yourself in such a way that you're fucking ruining what you have, what's making you unique, what would draw me in.
Exactly.
Because you're showing it and giving it to everybody for a price.
That's supposed to be for me.
Right.
That's supposed to be for me.
Call me old-fashioned, but if you're fucking
that's not old-fashioned. That's masculinity.
Well, it kind of goes back to when I was in 2014 when I broke up with my ex-girlfriend. Like I dated. Well, I didn't date. I slept with a lot of strippers.
Right.
Okay.
I've been there, done that.
And there was one particular.
You're basically a male stripper yourself.
There was There was one in particular that I would never like officially date. Like we would go out and get something to eat.
Right.
Steve.
Jesus Christ. They know him by heart too.
Listen. We would go out and eat and stuff like that, but I would never like seal the deal. And she was like, "Well, what the fuck's the problem? Blah blah. Why don't you ever want to go serious?" And I was like, the underlying issue with it is I didn't want to. I mean. Call me old-fashioned, I guess. I didn't want to date someone where like you could literally pay for a cover charge on a Thursday night and go see her butthole. Like,
sure.
To me, it was wrong.
It's wrong. It is wrong.
Like imagine being at a bar. Just hear me out. Imagine. Okay, you're exactly. Imagine being at a bar. Imagine being at a bar, Nelson, on like Sunday, and you're watching the football game, and like your buddy Tommy comes in and goes, "Hey, Nelson, I saw your girlfriend's asshole Saturday night. It's looking good. Like, what the fuck? Like,
hey, you better have paid her on time, all right?"
And like her argument was like, "Well, I spend the money on you." I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Like,
exactly.
I don't want you to buy me a PlayStation game with money you made from jerking some guy off. Like, what the fuck? I'll buy it myself, please. Don't. You know.
Yeah, I
don't need that.
You don't need the OnlyFans money.
Yeah,
that's right.
It's
the mic.
Unless of course, like I'm on the OnlyFans with you.
No, you gotta from there.
Okay,
if you grab the cable, it gets loose.
Okay,
I'm not into it at all. Like, and like that's where I think like. Even just content creating as a whole, right? Like we delve in comedy. That's our.
What if it's just me jerking off in a clown movie?
I don't want to see it.
What did you say?
So Tommy, if you can just reach out to us.
No, Tommy.
Just bring your
camera. You had your chance, Tommy. You fucking ruined it.
No, but like in general, I think that's what's fucking up content creation is watered down versions of things that were once done well.
Absolutely.
When it comes to comedy, when it comes to music, when it comes to just art as a whole, it's like if it's not treated like, hey, this is something I'm making to share with the world versus this is something I'm making, hopefully I can make a buck off of it and then keep it moving, you could tell the difference when you're listening or watching these things.
You're getting a flood of people trying to make money off it versus they're doing a thing because they're passionate about it.
Correct.
And that's why you see like a lot of the OG YouTubers that are still around, they're still around because they got into it without the idea of even being able to ever make money on it because it wasn't a thing at the time. Whereas you see some of these other people, they get in and they're gone inside of 2 years, 3 years because they burned themselves out. They weren't really in there for the creative aspect. They were just trying to get money, and they're in and then they're gone. Yeah, super quick.
They're a phase.
Yeah.
Bad.
No, absolutely. I think like even in the podcast realm, right? For us, we've been doing it long enough that we understand, like, all right, we're gonna go in, we're gonna kind of freestyle it, we're gonna talk shit. But there is a trick to having a good conversation, carrying a good conversation, being funny about it, even when the conversation can turn dark, knowing when to be like, okay, Eddie's talking too much about fucking calculators. Switch this bitch to something stupid like Ian sucking on titties. You know what I mean? Like, and then
talking too much about nuggets again.
That's a hell of a term.
There is an art to it, and like even like when it comes to like creating music, right? When we're at the studio, like we're never in there. Eddie had the chance to sit in with us today for a couple of hours. Like we spent a couple hours like pushing ideas around.
How was it, Eddie? Be honest.
Listening to beats.
It's entertaining.
Yeah.
Okay. I've showed up more than once, so you know it's entertaining enough that I've gone multiple times.
All right, well there you go.
Because it's a process, and what's funny is everyone has their own process. Like even when it comes to like you've heard like Joe Rogan talk about like comedians. Yep. I love listening to what another person's process is, because like at the studio, sometimes you have a person that wants to create there. Sometimes you have a person that creates it at home. Like CJ likes to write in the car. You know what I mean? Like, it's the process that you've become accustomed to.
Did we ever talk about that? Did we ever talk about that interview that Cat Williams did?
No.
We haven't brought it up on here.
All right, so what did he talk about his
well, no, it's just he like kind of like
he called everybody out.
He talked shit on everybody.
It was everybody. 3 hours of fuck everybody.
When you listen to
talking about people not being funny,
and
he also said a couple things that were kind of true though.
Now
I'm sure he did.
And here's the thing: everything that almost everything he was talking about, people went and they got the receipts for him. So they showed, here's Steve Harvey stealing jokes.
Exactly.
Here's Cedric stealing jokes. Here's this guy stealing jokes.
He went real hard on Cedric, on Steve, and Ricky Smiley.
And people
went real hard on those guys.
They pulled all of the videos showing, this guy had this joke first.
Yeah.
Like in some cases, especially with Cedric, where it was word for word.
I didn't know Cat Williams had like
it was verbatim.
I didn't know Cat had so much hate for Joe Rogan. He was like, he's like Joe Rogan is trying to push comedians that have never been funny. I'm like, God damn, what the fuck? Like,
I think Joe Rogan is just. I mean, I don't know how it works. I do believe people pay to be on this podcast, right?
Sure.
So
I would say
no.
I would say
advertisers pay. His whole thing is if he's interested in what you have to say, he'll bring you in. Like he's talked the world of Cat multiple times. And actually,
he said on his latest podcast, which was Saturday, it was yesterday. When they did the watch long for the UFC, he said if Cat ever wants to come on his podcast, he's like, you
immediately. It was like within minutes when the video of Cat saying Joe would never have me on. He said, "You're invited anytime."
Yeah, right.
As soon as you want in.
And you know what? That's the best way to handle that shit.
Too.
Well, love him or hate him, Cat Williams is a legendary comedian.
He is one of the best.
He is when he's on, he's fucking hilarious.
And every time Cat Williams has come up on Joe Rogan, other than when he's gotten in fights, they always praise him as one of the best comedians around. But
when Cat talked about Michael Jackson, that was
or Ludacris. That shit with Ludacris when he was drunk.
He put out a rap. A song against Ludacris.
I know. That's what I'm saying, bro. This shit's going too far. But
I'll never forget.
He's riding the train.
He is riding the train.
When he attacked Michael Jackson
for a long time.
Michael Jackson said he was a Muslim.
And
Cat was like, "You can't be a Muslim, Mike. You have a white woman pork face." I was like, God damn. Like that's
out of pocket.
That's it. He said he had a white woman pork face. I was like, shit.
I mean, people.
Michael, you can't be a Muslim.
People people kind of sleep on Cat Williams for some reason. He's been around for decades, and he's been one of the funniest comedians around for decades.
I remember when he lost that fight to that kid. That was
he got choked out to that little kid.
Yeah.
It's like a 14-year-old kid beating him.
I don't think anybody forgot that.
Hey, for all those that don't train, that is the power of knowing your
better,
ground game. You better know your ground game.
Better learn
Because
how
if
to
you
fight.
don't know ground game and you're 50 years old, that little 15-year-old down the street might choke your ass out. You know what I'm saying? So you better shut the fuck up.
That kid had to be like, what, 50 pounds soaking wet?
I mean, he honestly looked 12 or 13. Pubescent, just hitting puberty.
He lost to a kid with no pubes.
No pubes. He lost to a kid with no pubes.
Legitimately lost to a kid with no pubes. Like he tried to win. He tried to win and lost. That's bad.
And it was a power struggle too. That was a fight. It was going back and forth.
He was trying to win and he lost.
He gave it his all. He gave it his all.
Legitimately lost a fight to a child.
Yeah, he went home and his mom said, "You better get back out there and you better spoil us."
Yeah,
boy, go get that switch. You're not coming home till you win some.
I know. Cat was like, I watched the interview and like it was like something. He made good points. And like some of the shit, like you're right, there was receipts for it. And it's like some of the shit, it was just him bragging. I was like, he's talking himself up, but I don't know. All in all, I just thought it was fucking wild to see this guy just torching people, left and right.
Well, I do kind of think he has the right to because he has hit lows, he's hit highs, and then he's went rock bottom, and then he creates and gets back up every time. Those are the people that I want to hear their story and their testimony.
Now let's also be honest. If everything he was saying was wrong, nobody would have responded. Right. There's been like a dozen people that have had to respond because of what he said, because there was enough evidence that was being put out, not even by him, by other people. Like, what happened? And the internet loves a good mystery search, and they found all of the shit that that they could prove for him without him having to lift a finger.
Ludacris, you're gonna have to come forward. Cat Williams did release some information yesterday on a podcast. We're gonna need you guys to come forward and do an apology.
Yeah. He also like said a bunch of shit about Jonathan Majors. He said like you gotta be afraid of white women. He said doesn't matter who you are. He's like, you're asking me Kang the Conqueror, and they can take your ass down.
That's true. Kang the Conqueror.
He said, don't believe the lies Hollywood says. He says when they were trying to push this shit, saying that Jonathan Majors was the most attractive man, he's like, have you seen this motherfucker? He's like, if he's hot, we're all hot. He's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
We can argue that though. We can even argue Cat Williams' theory though. Let's talk about the Johnny Depp situation.
Right. Yeah.
That does argue it. I mean, think about it. She had that dude in the spot that most guys get into with their spouse, or when it doesn't work out.
And it didn't look good. He got dropped from Pirates of the Caribbean. I mean, we thought that was the end for Johnny
I personally thought it was the end, and then we found out that she shit in her hand and threw it at him.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no, she shit on his pillow.
On his pillow, on his bed. You know what? That's right.
Legit busted a fucking grumpy right in the middle of the bed.
Busted a grumpy.
Here's what saved Johnny Depp. Shit. He is one of the most charismatic motherfuckers in the planet.
Talented.
Very few people can get away with telling off a judge in such a way that even the judge is kind of like, hee, that's kind of funny.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like
he was so charming and charismatic during the trial that everybody kind of saw how crazy Amber was.
Yeah, she was going nuts.
Yep. And they were like, wow, this bitch is out of her mind.
They were doing remix songs.
It's a perfect example of somebody keeping their cool and allowing the other person to lose their cool and show their hand. It's like, hey, listen, I'm telling you.
Just let them hang themselves.
I'm not shitting on my own pillow and going to sleep. You know what I mean? She's like, I didn't shit.
But do you see how that kind of counteracts what Cat Williams was saying about the white women, which is true for most people.
I agree.
The best part was when the lawyer was like, how can you guarantee that it was an Amber and it wasn't your dogs? And he like smiled. He went, they're teacup Yorkies. He's like that shit did not come out of my dogs.
No, but and back to Jonathan Majors, it is the case where most men
he was running
are proven guilty in those situations before anything else.
There is I haven't seen all the videos.
A minority.
Right?
For sure.
Haven't seen all the videos, but when the main video that's going around is this man running block after block after block, like, if you're the one that's accusing him of abusing you and you ran 6, 7, 8 blocks chasing him, grabbing onto him, you got people with you and you're trying to hold them from leaving, I don't feel like you're the one being abused here.
Yeah, and destroyed that man's career.
Like at a certain,
that annihilated
his fucking life.
It's like at a certain point, how far can someone chase you and grab onto you before you're allowed to push them away to keep your distance?
I mean, he was the major villain in Marvel's next arc, and now that's over.
That's
done.
over. That's over.
Done.
Yep.
And not only that, like
he lost millions of
the
dollars
movies he was in. If you've seen any of the movies he was in prior to this conviction or whatever
Creed
happened,
3.
Amazing fucking talented.
Amazing talented actor. Very good actor.
Yeah, he did that army movie. I forget the name of it, where he played a pilot. He was one
This
of the
dude
first
can do any
African-American
role.
pilots. He played in
Tuskegee Airmen. That's what it was.
It was he's just a great actor and done.
Yep.
Done. He won't have a career for years.
You know they're doing
anything.
another Band of Brothers type shit. It's called like Masters of the Air or something. It's about the pilots in World War II.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
Will Smith is making a comeback right now.
Yes, he is.
He's going to be coming back in I Am Legend 2, which was a huge movie.
It was.
That was a good movie.
I'm curious to see how well it does this time around.
No, first
he's
very
been
nervous
he's
about
been
it.
off the air for a while.
First he had to do a movie. I think it was on Apple where he got beat as a slave.
Yeah.
And then he's allowed to come back.
Yeah. No, it's a storied career that again.
I'm sure they filmed it before everything that happened.
Yeah.
But that was
Remember what you did at those awards?
It's Chris Rock.
No more, boy. Didn't I tell you?
Chris Rock was not the director of that movie.
I'm black, by the way.
No, we know. We know.
He can say that.
Yeah. We just want to know. Yeah, he's co-signing that.
You saw me.
Said that.
You saw me. I didn't say shit.
Yeah.
I'm fucking sitting here in
Ian
silence.
shrank in the chair just a little bit.
I gotta leave that one the fuck alone.
No, but have you ever seen Band of Brothers?
I haven't.
I'm going to tell you this. It's worth a watch. I wouldn't watch it if you're planning on smiling, laughing, or joking for any short amount of time.
Right.
It's written and directed by Tom Hanks and what's the
Steven
other
Spielberg.
Steven Spielberg.
This is pre-Epstein list, Tom Hanks.
If you ever want to see like the truest depiction,
Why is that a staple of life? Go ahead, continue. But that doesn't have
damn.
It's a staple of time now.
it is.
I
It
guess.
is. But if you ever want to see like the truest
right.
depiction that you can of actual wartime, what soldiers go through, what happened out there, it's hard watch. Pacific more so than Band of Brothers. Band of Brothers is fucking amazing. But at the end of every episode, they have some surviving members from those wars crying and talking about
their
what
real
actually
story.
happened.
Yeah.
Man,
That's no joke.
it's so good to watch though. It's like, to me, it's better. Saving Private Ryan is probably my favorite war movie of all time.
Same.
Band of Brothers is up there with that as far as how excellent.
I mean, I haven't seen it, but I like where you're coming from when you said, they actually have people from the story.
Yeah.
You know, that was like like Black Hawk Down, and then being able to talk to the dude that actually was all fucked up from that shit. Didn't he fall like 65 stories or 70 something stories or something?
It's fucking wild.
And he survived. You know, those are the those make the best stories.
Oh yeah. Another movie that I seen, and it's almost unbelievable, was called, speaking of just war movies, Hacksaw Ridge.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you've seen this.
I haven't seen
There
that.
was one man who saved like
60 people.
60 people in one day.
He even tried to save Japanese soldiers, but to quote the American soldiers, they didn't survive.
They didn't survive on the way back.
Yeah.
And
They didn't make it.
Well, that's like, is it Patton, the general? They did a movie about him, and they took some stuff out because his heroics were so audacious that they thought people would not believe the things. Because there was at one point where by himself he was on the gun of a tank, fighting against an entire platoon that was marching on them by himself. And they're like, what the fuck is going on?
They're
like, yeah, we're not believing that.
But to be fair, back in the day, people would march in a straight line. All right? So, I mean, it's not like they're going bobbing and weaving, tactical. You know what I mean? They're going straight.
At least we don't fight like we used to, like lining up, like fucking from here to like the closet. Like, all right,
they're playing drums. Like, dum, 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 dum. Like, yo, why do we need a beat to die? I could die without the beat.
I'd shoot the drummer.
Yeah.
I'm that guy.
So
I'd be like, fuck you, drummer boy.
Usually the drummer was a 13-year-old or 10-year-old kid, though.
He's getting
He's getting a
You knew the risks, drummer boy.
That's a shit job right there. No, so
I'm shooting the drummer boy. I'm shooting the flag holder.
Yeah.
He saved 75 men. This one guy.
That's no
and
joke.
he was a conscientious objector.
So he
which
went
means
to war with no gun.
No gun. He fought to be in the war as a medic and he did not want a gun. He's like, I want to do God's work without having to shoot people. And they all laughed at him. They didn't want him to come. They thought he was a fucking moron. And then he winds up saving 75 motherfuckers.
That's no joke. That's God's plan, God's work, bro.
Wild.
Dude was nuts. He was like up. He was up on the ridge, like crawling through bodies, just saving people that were alive.
If you have
it's
a
like
chance,
the craziest
I'm gonna
shit
watch
ever.
it.
Band of Brothers.
Band of Brothers.
And then watch Hacksaw Ridge, because then you get uplifted. If you watch it in the reverse order, you're gonna be like, man fucking
I'm all
world
fucked up.
is fucked.
Yo, we might not make it.
Yeah. But it's definitely worth the watch. I mean, I haven't seen anything as of recently that has been so fucking great in a while. So I'm looking forward to only really Deadpool 3
Yeah, me too.
in the movies.
There's some things, there's some issues popping out with that. And Ryan Reynolds as well as Hugh Jackman have been refusing to do certain interviews with certain places because they started trying to cut scenes and remove things from filming and manipulate the movie to make it more what Disney wants it to be versus what they told him he was allowed to do.
Right.
Sounds like breaching contract.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say this right now. If Disney, I already don't pay for your fucking subscription, so that's one thing. But if you fuck up Deadpool 3, if you fuck up Deadpool 3, I will systematically start destroying rides around the park. I don't care what that means for economy, loss of human life.
You heard it here first.
No.
Thank you for joining us at the Sofa Kingdom podcast, where you can find us on all your social media platforms at
Sofa Kingdom OFC.
You can find us on YouTube at
Sofa Kingdom Podcast.
Ian, you had any more threats for Disney?
I have nothing positive to say. Leslie,
Great.
tell us where we
Good
can
to
find
hear.
you.
You can find me on all platforms, Last Space Legend, or on any other social media. It's Last_Legend. Guys, have a great day. Thank you for having me.
But also, where can they find your music?
Apple Music, Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio, The Radio, FM Radio, everything. You can find me everywhere.
Listen to it with your ear holes.
With your ear holes.
Listen.
Little nuggets.
It's good shit. I don't even feel like I can say that.
Man, it's always a pleasure with you guys.
Hey,
Dude,
man, thank you for joining us. It was a good time.
Yeah, apparently they're trying to take out the World War I and World War II scenes from Wolverine's backstory.
No, get the fuck out of here. That's the best part. That's what made him a savage.
He fought every American war.
Yeah. Well, not only that, wasn't he like a Canadian?
That was a good podcast.